iPhone 13 is here, and to be completely honest with you, the vast majority of you will probably be fine not upgrading your phone if you have an iPhone 11 or even an iPhone 12. You're probably better off waiting until next year, but Apple releases a new phone every year, and there are some cool things to be excited about if you are a tech enthusiast like myself. For starters, ProMotion is finally here in the iPhone, specifically the 13 Pro and Pro Max. iPhones will finally have a 120 hertz display, which I'm very excited about. I will say Apple does create probably the smoothest 60 hertz display I've ever used in any phone ever. So I'm pretty excited to see how this will work out when they implement 120 hertz on the iPhone. I pretty much guarantee it's going to be very similar to the experience you'd have on an iPad Pro, and they've done a very good job there. They also stated that it will have an adaptive refresh rate, and the refresh rate will change depending on the task that you're doing, so it should help compensate and improve battery life with this new display. The new display on the iPhone is also going to be 25% brighter. I mean, that's never a bad thing for new phones. It can get very bright outside. Also, battery life has improved across the board on the iPhones, which is awesome, ranging anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 more hours, depending on the, I just got a text. Depending on the iPhone that you buy. It's all thanks to Apple's A15 Bionic and bigger battery. They didn't say how big the battery is, other than that it's bigger, so there we go. Speaking of battery life, unless I've missed this, Apple is not doing a portless iPhone this year. It does look like this year, again, we will have the option to charge our iPhone via Lightning or MagSafe. So I know a lot of people were really curious if this would be the year that Apple eliminates the ports. They're not doing it. In terms of colors, I'm also really digging the new Sierra Blue on the iPhone 13 Pro. That iPhone just looks super sexy, and that's probably going to be the one I buy, to be honest. We also got upgrades to the cameras. The wide angle and the ultra wide both have a wider aperture, which will be very helpful in low light photography. Apple claims about 2.2 times more light in the wide angle lens and about 92% more light in the ultra wide angle lens. Those are big numbers. Like, that sounds like a meaningful difference, but we'll wait and see how these new camera upgrades pan out in the real world and whether or not they actually make a difference. Apple also added macro photography to the new iPhone, so you can actually bring your phone about 2 centimeters away from your subject, allowing you to take super detailed pictures of like flowers or anything that like conceptualizes in your imagination. I personally don't really care about this, but I know a lot of companies have been adding this feature to their phone, so clearly there are people who care. I'm curious, do any of you care about macro photography? Maybe I just need to be enlightened and it's a super cool thing that I need to get into. However, something that I do care about is the introduction to photographic styles. Apple has actually made it more accessible for amateur and professional photographers using iPhones to maintain a look to every single picture that you take. So you can sort of alter, prior to taking the picture, the exact look that you're going for. They're claiming that this is different than just making a filter, because the iPhone is going to work hard to preserve skin tones and not affect the skies and whatnot. So I guess it's something that we'll have to wait and see, but I really think that's kind of cool, actually. Something kind of cool for the video makers and YouTubers out there is that you can now shoot iPhone videos in ProRes. So if you do use a MacBook and you use Final Cut Pro, that will be very beneficial to you in your video editing workflow. Something to note, though, is that this feature does say coming soon, and anytime I see the word or phrase coming soon, I just interpret that as it's not really a thing until it's a thing. Companies are notorious for making software update promises that take forever to come or just don't come at all. So we'll wait and see. There's also this new cinematic video mode feature built into the iPhone 13. It's supposed to allow you to very smoothly transition your shallow depth of field between subjects. Kind of cool. A quick note about MagSafe. So Apple did make mention that they are releasing brand new MagSafe cases and wallets and accessories for the iPhone 13 specifically, but it makes me question. I do have an iPhone 12 Pro. I have and rock a MagSafe wallet, a leather MagSafe wallet, and a leather MagSafe case. and I'm kind of curious if those accessories will still work on the 13. Both of these phones are pretty much the exact same dimension, so hopefully it does, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Speaking of the notch, actually, it went down. Like, it decreased in size by 20%. So that's awesome. I mean, I've never really had a problem with the notch because I love Face ID, and if we need a notch to have Face ID, I'm all for it. But it's just great to see Apple reducing it any way that they can. Storage now starts at 128 gigabytes, which is awesome because 64 gigabytes was not enough for anybody on this planet. So very excited to see that for people. And thankfully, the prices of the new iPhones this year are the exact same as last year. There hasn't been any price increases that I'm aware of. Overall, that's it. That's iPhone 13 for you. And if you finish this video feeling underwhelmed, I don't blame you. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of new stuff here for the everyday person. I really think if you own an iPhone 10R, 11, or 12, you could honestly skip the 13. Like, there just really isn't like a killer feature that I could recommend for you to go and buy this, unless you're a tech enthusiast, unless you care about high refresh rate, ProMotion display technology like I do. Skip the iPhone 13. That's my guess, but we'll see when it comes out in a few weeks. I'll be doing a full review, so make sure to subscribe and drop a like down below, as that video will come out in a couple of weeks. But anyways, I'll catch all of you guys in another video. Peace.